In the fall of 1982, the city of Chicago was rocked by a wave of sudden, unexplained deaths that sent shockwaves through the community and left residents terrified. All the tragedies were traced back to a common, trusted household medicine. Tylenol, a staple in nearly every home, suddenly became a source of fear and suspicion. The nightmare began with 12-year-old Mary Kellerman, who took an extra-strength Tylenol capsule for a cold and tragically died just hours later, leaving her family and the entire city in shock. Within hours, Adam Janus also died after taking Tylenol, followed by his brother and sister-in-law, who consumed capsules from the same bottle while mourning his loss. The tragedy unfolded rapidly, deepening the sense of dread. In total, 7 innocent people lost their lives, all after taking Tylenol capsules they believed were safe. The city was left reeling, and fear spread quickly. Quick-thinking first responders and investigators noticed the disturbing link between the deaths, triggering a frantic and urgent investigation to uncover the cause. Laboratory tests soon revealed the horrifying truth. The Tylenol capsules had been laced with deadly potassium cyanide, a poison that acts within minutes. Panic spread across Chicago and the nation as health officials urgently warned the public to stop using Tylenol immediately, and pharmacies pulled bottles from their shelves. Johnson & Johnson responded with an unprecedented nationwide recall of 31 million bottles, halting production, offering replacements, and working closely with authorities to protect the public. Their swift, transparent, and decisive action set a new standard for corporate crisis management, earning praise for putting consumer safety first. The Tylenol murders forever changed the way America viewed safety in everyday products, leading to tamper-evident packaging and new regulations that still protect consumers today. The investigation quickly escalated, becoming one of the largest and most complex in U.S. history. Local police worked around the clock, scouring every possible lead and interviewing witnesses, desperate to find answers as panic spread through the community. Soon, state police and the FBI joined the effort, forming a massive task force. Their combined resources and expertise were brought together in an unprecedented collaboration, highlighting the seriousness and urgency of the case. Authorities determined that the tampering had occurred after the bottles left the factory. Someone had secretly poisoned the capsules and then returned them to store shelves, turning everyday medicine into a deadly weapon. This chilling discovery sent shockwaves through the public. James W. Lewis, who sent an extortion letter to Johnson & Johnson demanding money to stop the killings, was arrested for blackmail. However, despite intense scrutiny, he was never directly linked to the actual murders, leaving investigators frustrated. Another suspect, Roger Arnold, was investigated after suspicious behavior, but he was eventually cleared of involvement in the Tylenol case. Tragically, he later committed an unrelated murder, adding another dark twist to the story. The killer left behind no fingerprints, no clear motive, and no connection between the victims. Every clue seemed to lead to a dead end, and the randomness of the attacks made the case even more baffling. The entire Chicago area became a sprawling crime scene, with neighborhoods on edge and police patrolling city streets. The scale and randomness of the poisonings made the case nearly impossible to solve. Despite thousands of leads, countless interviews, and tireless work by investigators, the person responsible for the poisonings was never found. The case grew colder with each passing year. The Tylenol killer remained a ghost, an unseen presence haunting not just Chicago, but the entire nation. The mystery endures, a chilling reminder of how one faceless individual changed history forever. Decades passed, and the city of Chicago changed, but the shadow of the Tylenol murders lingered on. Despite countless hours spent by detectives and investigators, the Tylenol case was never officially closed. It haunted law enforcement for years. In 2009, the FBI decided to reopen the investigation, this time armed with advanced forensic technology and cutting-edge DNA testing that hadn't existed in the 1980s. Suspects like James Lewis and Roger Arnold were re-examined under this new scientific scrutiny, but DNA evidence ultimately ruled them out as the source of the poisonings. Even the infamous Unabomber Ted Kaczynski was considered a possible suspect, but after thorough investigation, no connection was ever found. Investigators tried creative psychological tactics, such as secretly surveilling the first victim's grave, hoping the killer might return to the scene, but these efforts led nowhere. Every promising lead ended in disappointment, leaving detectives frustrated and the case files gathering dust. The Tylenol murders remain one of America's most notorious and chilling unsolved crimes, a case that changed the nation but never found closure. To this day, the true identity of the Tylenol killer is still a mystery, leaving behind only questions and fear. The Tylenol murders led to sweeping changes in consumer safety. Tamper-evident packaging, foil seals, neckbands, and blister packs became the new standard. Johnson & Johnson replaced capsules with solid caplets, making tampering harder. Federal laws made product tampering a serious crime. The company's transparent response became a model for crisis management. Within a year, Tylenol regained much of its market share, proving the power of public trust. The tragedy forced industries and governments to prioritize consumer protection. Out of fear and loss, a safer world was born.